The Baltimore Ravens moved to 2-2 as they completely destroyed the Buffalo Bills 35-10 on Sunday Night Football, thanks to two individuals, Lamar Jackson, who had 210 total yards and 3 total touchdowns, as well as Derrick Henry running all over the place, nearly 200 yards rushing, and he had a couple touchdowns himself. The Ravens were favored by 2.5 in this game on Sunday Night Football, and it did not look very close. It was close basically at 0 parts of the game, with Derrick Henry starting the game off for the Ravens with an 87-yard touchdown, and he never looked back. I want to know, what was your reaction, though, to Baltimore absolutely blowing out the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night?
I have 2 takeaways from this game, one for the Ravens and one for the Bills. My takeaway from the Ravens game, they found the winning formula. It's ground and pound with Derrick Henry, Lamar improvising and running when the play breaks down. That's their winning formula, and they played it to a T on Sunday night. They were unstoppable. That play with Derrick Henry on the first play they got the ball, 87-yard run for a touchdown. That's the biggest play of the year. I'm sorry. That's the most exciting play that's happened all this year so far. He left them in the dust. The guy's 30 years old. They said he was running at 27 miles an hour. You know? He left those guys in the dust. The guy hasn't lost it. He's still got that 6th gear. He can turn it on when he has to. A very impressive performance by him. So that's my takeaway, and I support it with the following data. The time of possession, the Ravens, 31 minutes. The total yards, they blew the Bills away, 427 yards. Third down, 5 of 9. First downs, 22. Problem with them still is they got to fix this. They want to be a Super Bowl winner. 8 penalties, and the penalties have been a problem for them. Although the fourth quarter wasn't this time. They've got that. They seem to have that fixed. They didn't let the Bills back into the game. Henry, 24 carries, 199 yards, 2 TDs, magnificent performance. Lamar, 13 of 18, didn't have to throw the ball much. They were killing it on the ground. 156 yards, 2 TDs, and he had 1 rushing TD too. 54 yards rushing. Jackson only sacked once. The defense, Van Noy, big on defense, 2 sacks, a forced fumble. He's had 2 sacks in 3 consecutive games. The guy's on pace maybe to set a record here. Baltimore's offensive line looks stellar right now. I would also say that the most impressive thing to me about the Ravens is, and their performance is even more impressive when you know the Bills knew what they were going to do. It was obvious. They have a decent defense too. They knew they were going to run the ball, and they couldn't stop it. So I think that's my take on the Ravens. They've got the winning formula. Can they keep it going? On the Bills side, the Bills were exposed. Okay?
Maybe.
They're not the powerhouse we thought they were. They're up against a strong defense, and the offense kept them kind of off the field. They had 28 minutes on offense, but still, they would expect to have a lot more with Josh Allen as their quarterback. They'd have their run game was where it was missing in action.
That's fair.
I mean, their stats were pedestrian. Allen, 180 yards, 20 yard, and had 21 yards rushing. Cook only 39 yards rushing. Ty Johnson had their lone TD on a short run. Shakir led the receivers with 62 yards. That's pretty pedestrian. Keon Coleman dropped a beautiful pass that Allen laid right into his hands, and he dropped it. It would have been about a 60-yard game. He did have 3 receptions for 51 yards. Allen said that after the game, "I'm glad this happened early in the season so we can correct things." Well, they have a lot to correct. They only had 237 total yards. They had the ball for 28 minutes. They only converted on 3 of 13 third downs. They had 12 first downs. They only had 4 penalties, so that was a plus for them. On the ranks, I would say the Bills, this is the first time they've lost a game by more than 7 points since back in 2021, November 21. So that's pretty impressive. But they got blown out in this game. I would give McDermott, I think I'd give him an F in coaching on this game. He knew what was coming. They couldn't stop it. The offense and defense, or the offensive line, the Ravens had 3 sacks, 10 pressures. And on defense, where was Von Miller? I never heard his name mentioned all night. The Bills lack a consistent downfield passing game. Coleman had that terrible drop. Kincaid had a drop that killed the first drive. Allen did not produce a TD, either running or passing. The Bills' run defense, I give them an F. I mentioned the stats. I think my take is the Bills have been exposed. They're not the powerhouse we thought they were.
I'm not saying they're exposed because one game, yeah, you could say they got absolutely smothered, but then again, it's one game. This was easily the hardest opponent the Bills have played all season. When you go up against Jacksonville, who can't score on offense, and when you go up against teams like Arizona, was probably the closest game they ever had to play because they were up 17, I think, 17-3 or 17-7 early in that game. Josh Allen had become Superman and then come back and win that game. They also played Miami when Tua does not perform very well, and then they ended up getting concussed, and they get Skylar Thompson the rest of the way. When it comes to this game, though, I'm not here to make excuses. I'm not here to say, but the Bills, no. This show is based around context and honesty, and that's what I will maintain the integrity of. The Ravens beat the crap out of the Bills. There's no other way to put it. When you open the game up with an 87-yard rushing touchdown, and there's literally nobody that can reach Derrick Henry when he's going downhill like that, there is no other way to put it. The Bills got absolutely crapped all over. The Ravens had every answer in the book for what the Bills tried to do. Because what we've seen with the Joe Brady offense is that they want to be a lot more running, a lot more balanced with a lean to the run game a little bit. Take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands, make the run game more efficient, use Josh Allen in an efficiency standpoint where he's only needing to make the throws that he has to. Also a little bit of dink and dunk with occasional intermediate throws, and the Ravens completely took that away. Kyle Hamilton rushed defense early on, getting some run stops, getting some pressures. Kyle Van Noy has had a phenomenal season so far. He's been all over the field, and in this game, he showed himself with a forced fumble. I think he had 4 pressures in this game. He had a couple of sacks as well. He did an incredible job. The Ravens played extremely well. The Bills definitely were outcoached. They were completely outplayed. But let's be honest here. What have, especially we, and me in particular, what have we been talking about when it came to this Ravens team? What is their identity? Because they opened last season with more effective passing game. That's what they focused on. And against a pretty bad Chiefs rush defense, they really only passed it from the pocket, and they ended up losing. Coming into this season, we didn't know because it was like, okay, well, the offensive line's not great. They couldn't run against the Chiefs. What exactly are they going to do? And then against the Cowboys, a very bad rush defense, they ran all over the place and they dominated until the fourth quarter, where some repeated situations, like giving up double-digit fourth-quarter leads, that almost came into play in that game, but fortunately it didn't. But this is the way to win. This is the way the Baltimore Ravens need to play the rest of the season. Let Derrick Henry run it 20-plus times. I understand John Harbaugh said, well, we didn't get Derrick Henry to run it 30 times. No, but 20 works perfectly fine because in Derrick Henry's career, he is a volume runner. The more he runs, the more effective he will be because these are the numbers for his entire career. If Derrick Henry runs 20 or more times, he is an incredible running back. He's 35-10. When he runs 20 or more times, his team wins 35 out of 45 times. 126 yards per game in those games. 4.9 yards a carry. 4.9 yards, basically 5 yards a carry on 20-plus attempts is incredible. 51 touchdowns in those games. So over a touchdown a game. Success rate 50.6. Their teams in those games win by an average margin of over 10 points. Double-digit victories here. Derrick Henry is the key to the Ravens' success. Now, the major question, and yes, I will give the Ravens their flowers for this game. There's no excuses that need to be made. There's nothing I can really complain about. The Bills got out-coached. The only thing I'll say is you go for it on 4th and 1 early in the game when the score is 0-0 on your own 39-yard line, and it's successful. When you're down 14-3 on the 39-yard line, go for it again. Why change it based on just the score? You need to score points. You're down by 11 points. Maintain the aggressiveness. Sean McDermott played it safe, and lo and behold, he paid the price for it. You lost 35-10. But great win. I'll say, phenomenal win. Where do I want to see it, though? The one place Lamar Jackson has never found real success. January. Do it in the playoffs. Do it when it matters most.
Oh, we got a long way to go to get to there.
I understand. Great win. Phenomenal win. They played extremely well. The defense was on point. Offensive line held up. The Bills could not pressure Lamar Jackson. The receivers were wide open. Tight window percentage. Next gen stats. He was the only quarterback to have 0 throws in tight windows. Everybody was wide open. Led this week in average separation. The Bills the coverage defense just was non-existent in this game. I'm giving them their flowers.
Yeah.
Do it when it matters, though. Put up this type of performance in the playoffs. That's all I'm asking for. Yeah, the Ravens do extremely well, and Lamar plays like an MVP in the regular season.
I think
I have nothing against him.
I think they have a better chance to make that kind of performance this year with Derrick Henry. As long as he's healthy.
That.
He may be beat up by then. I don't know. That's a long way to go.
Well, if you're running 27 miles an hour downhill, 27 is extremely fast.
Yeah.
But, anyway, he's 30 years old, big guy, heavy running back. He should be a 20 carry a game, I would say most nights.
He's the best value per carry of any running back in the league.
He's making $9 million this year.
$9 million bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, congratulations to the Ravens. There's no excuses that need to be made. All I'm saying is Lamar played great. He played into the system. The system was heavy run, Lamar Jackson scramble. Hey, by the way, he ran play action, I think, according to Pro Football Focus, 60% of the time. That's how effective the running game was. You could run play action 60% of the time.
As long as their running games going like that, they're going to be unbeatable.
I completely agree. And I just want to say, you picked the Ravens.
I did.
It was a great pick for you. The reason I picked the Bills they were the best team in the NFL, and Josh Allen was the best quarterback at that current time.
That's why I say they were exposed.
They
didn't look. They didn't look like the best team at all.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
You look at the stats and how they played. They were behind, and at the end of the first half, 21-3.
Yeah.
The game was kind of over by then, I thought.
No, there were some very weird coaching mistakes that Sean McDermott made. Very conservative on some of the play calls. The offensive line of the Bills did a bad job protecting Josh Allen. it was a great performance of the Ravens. Had their number, drew it up beautifully, and executed it basically to perfection. There was touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It was a sight to see. It sucked for me because I picked the Bills, but hey, I'm still thinking the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL still. Josh Allen is still Superman when he needs to be. Did he have one bad game? All great quarterbacks have one bad game. We've seen Mahomes play terrible this entire year, and they're 4-0.
Yeah, well, the Bills have the Texans next week, and the Ravens have Cincinnati. Those will be interesting games.
I think the Cincinnati one, I'm taking Baltimore all the way. Cincinnati doesn't have a defense.
Cincinnati will be in terrible shape if that happens, man. They'll be 1-4.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good for Joe Burrow. But, congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens. It was a phenomenal win. You move now to 2-2, while the Buffalo Bills dropped to 3-1, still leading the AFC East because that AFC East
looking weak.
It looks pretty poor. A lot of divisions are looking shockingly poor. The Chiefs are 4-0, and we're going to talk about them next, actually. But they're not playing well. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.